Thank you. All right, Grace Rogers is quite late for her own hearing. It was set for 9:30 and we kind of stalled a little bit, which probably was a good idea.
Thank you. I'm sorry. I couldn't log into Zoom.
All right, well, I was about to enter a default against you, but Mr. Bush was here anyway, so we just made Mr. Snyder wait. Title of this case is Tim Snyder versus Grace Rogers. Mr. Rogers is asking you to terminate your tenancy and have you move out of the house on South Lincoln Avenue in White Pigeon. The other tenant, Mr. Norton, is deceased and he's not part of this action. This is a termination of tenancy. He wants you to move. As a defendant in a landlord-tenant proceeding, including termination of tenancy, you have the following legal rights. You have the right to obtain counsel for representation in this matter. If you cannot afford an attorney, a legal aid attorney may be available to help you, and there is a legal aid representative on the feed here. You have a right to a trial by a jury or by the court. If the action is for non-payment of rent, we would take a different course of action than what we're doing here. If the plaintiff is agreeable, the Citizens Mediation Services, Inc. may be available as a possible source of case resolution. If both parties are interested, the court can help set that up. If you do reach an agreement with the plaintiff and a consent judgment is entered by the court, you would waive the rights listed above, but have the following additional rights. The judgment could not be enforced until 3 business days had passed. You could move to set aside the judgment within those 3 days if you misunderstood what you consented to or what you were waiving. Your motion to set aside the judgment would be set for a landlord-tenant hearing, but if the judge did not find in your favor, the original judgment would stand. While we were waiting for you, Mr. Snyder informed us that he wishes to just get this property back and terminate your tenancy. What's your position?
The way this all came about, I think, was just, it was, yeah, he put a for sale sign up a day after he walked into my house and I yelled at him and he sold it. And I've lived here for 4 years. I understand he wants the house back, but I just don't think it was fair under the conditions of how this happened. It was just sprung on me. He just put a for sale sign in the yard and didn't inform me of it.
So what do you think should happen?
If I could have a couple more weeks, I will be out. It's hard for me to find a storage unit. There's one across the street, but it's not vacant yet. And I was bombarded, or this caught me off guard, totally off guard. And I'm just trying to do the things in order to, like, I just had my expungement, or I had some criminal charges that were expunged. I'm just trying to get my life back on track. And I just didn't need this at this point in time. And I understand he wants his house back. I get that, but.
All right, well, the law requires that we adjourn this for at least 7 days, which would be next Friday. And then you would get 10 more days after that to move out, or you'd be subject to being evicted. He could actually even give you more time than that if he chose to, but the very soonest he could get a writ of eviction would be July 17th, which is a Monday. So we will continue this to July 7th at 2:10 p.m. We're going to be very busy at 2 o'clock, but so yeah, we were mentioning this earlier that a lot of landlords just want to get out of the landlord business, and this is a week-to-week tenancy. The notice to quit was served quite some time ago, back in May.
Right.
So this didn't sneak up and bite you in the ankle. And actually, he served a notice to quit on March 31st. So you've had April, May, June. At any rate, the law requires we continue this. We'll address it further next Friday. And if they get what they ask for, you would have until the 17th of July to move. So fairness is in the eye of the beholder. You feel you got blindsided by it. He feels he's had to wait 4 months to get you out of his house so he could sell it. So as usual, the truth is probably somewhere in the middle. But we'll address it further next Friday at 2:10 p.m. Try to log in on time, okay? Because we kind of get backed up and we have to wait.
Yes, I'm sorry. I apologize.
All right, thank you. You're good to go.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. That finishes you, Mr. Bush.
Well, I still
Oh, no,
have,
we still have Mr. Pierce. And AT&T Motivate.
And we've got Snyder also.
Yeah, we'll see who this is. That's Grace Rogers. I'm getting vertigo by looking at her ceiling.
Let's see who he's doing. I don't think he's doing that one.
He's doing that one first. He's rolling over.
She logged in this morning and I asked her to come back this afternoon at 2:10. She's on a walk. I'm not sure who Donna is. Donna Runyon. All right, we'll be with you on Engelmeyer and Runyon in a bit.
Okay,
Yeah, that's not 2:15. If I can get Miss Rogers to light somewhere, we could address her case.
well, if you want to do Engelmeyer first, I don't object.
Looks like it's nice weather outside.
beautiful.
All right, let's set Miss Rogers aside while she's trying to get situated. All right.
Sounds good.
Yeah, you're good to go. I'll remove you from the session. Now, we've got Grace Rogers and the nocturnals. I'm not sure what she's doing here. She's been running around the block. This morning she logged in. She was in one spot. She had her dog with her. I could see her and hear her. I've lost her. All right, Miss Rogers, can you hear me? Now she's in a moving car. That's not good either. Miss Rogers, can you hear me? We're gonna have a crash here. At least she's not driving. Miss Rogers, can you hear me?
Which one is she?
All right. Yeah.
This one?
Yes. she was late.
Well, this is like not connecting at all. She's only 3 minutes late, but now she's gonna go walk around the block again. I'm not sure what's going on.
Looks like she
She
may
might-
be outside now.
Well, I think she may be at the courthouse. No. She was late last time. She indicated that she did plan to move. We learned last week that this was a week-to-week tenancy. Her significant other, Jimmy Norton, was on the lease. He died some time ago, and that's when things started to become problematic. Mr. Snyder was connected from John's office and was clear that he just wanted his property back. In fact, I believe there's a for sale sign in the yard.
And he is here this morning or afternoon. And we're simply asking for possession.
Mr. Snyder, is that the house on Lincoln?
That appears to be her. I can't hear very well.
Well, none of us can hear.
The house is
But-
on Lincoln, right?
Correct. That's what he said.
I have directed numerous communications to her and never received a response.
Well, she was here last week, late. And she was here, as I indicated, this morning with a good connection. But this is kind of a fiasco. I don't know if that is such a thing, kind of a fiasco. I guess it either is or it isn't.
The judge.
We're getting a nice travel log of White Pigeon. A nice summer afternoon. I don't remember what she did last week, but this morning she was logged in. She was well lit. She had her name on the screen.
I don't see much of her now.
No, she comes and goes. She's obviously not having a very easy time of it. Someone was there with her briefly. Mr. Snyder, when did Jimmy Norton die?
Did they what?
The co-tenant, Mr. Norton, when did he die?
When did the other tenant die?
It's approximately 18 months ago.
18 months ago. You pay the rent.
All right, they came in. Maybe she tried something else. This is iPhone. Except it might be Mr. Smithers. No, she's back.
Now where'd they go?
All right, Miss Potter, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Miss Potter?
Potter. This Rogers.
Okay, Miss Rogers, I'm sorry. Grace Potter's is someone different. You never heard of her. Miss Rogers, Grace Rogers. We've been struggling watching you drive around, walk around, run around the block.
We
do
were
some-
in an accident and
Do
Amy
some
and
jumping jacks. All right, so we've been watching this transpire in awe for the last 22 minutes. So let's tend to our business here. This is Tim Snyder versus Grace Rogers, not Grace Potter. The file number is 23701. We were here last week. Mr. John Bush was here and indicated that Mr. Snyder wished us to sell this property. He wants Ms. Rogers to move, and we continued the matter until today. Howard
And that-
Bush is here on behalf of the defendant. You're still asking for the property within 10 days?
And that is correct. We still want.
Ms.
the property.
Rogers, you told us last time you plan to move. Can you move within 10 days?
no, I can't. You know,
All
and
right.
for this, Mr. Snyder had offered to sell me this place on land contract for 20% down. And he said he didn't want to go through any FHA loans because he didn't want this house to have an inspection.
And
So,
that is no
All right.
longer the case.
All right, Miss Rogers, you have until July 17th to move or you're subject to being evicted. You have 10 days to appeal this. If you can't move, the sheriff can come and put all your stuff out for you. That's not good. It's like garage sale. People come by and pick stuff up off the curb. Anyway, he's gone through all the process to get his property back. The notice to quit was filed quite some time ago, I think in March. Yeah, the house went up for sale, as you indicated, and he wishes to sell it. In order to do that, he has to get you out of it. You have a week-to-week tenancy. There's issues with it. He doesn't wish to sell it, apparently on a land contract at this point, at least not to you. So you have 10 days to be out. That's July 17th, or you're subject to being evicted. I will send you a copy of that. And you have 10 days also to appeal it.
so I can't have until the 1st, until the end of the month, so I could be out.
No, you have till July 17th. He can agree to give you till August 1st. But he doesn't have to. He has 56 days from today to ask for the writ of eviction. It's much easier to have the tenant move out than have the sheriff do it. I'll say that. So he can agree to give you till August 1st, but he does not have to.
Well, would he? Would you, Tim?
I am not going to make that agreement today.
All right, well, you guys can discuss it. All right, I'll send you this in the mail. You're good to go. It went crazy following that. I don't even know what was going on. She said they were in an accident. I don't even know what I just saw. But that's time I can never get back. At any rate, it is what it is. Mr. Snyder, as I said, not in jest, it's easier to have the tenant move out than have them be evicted, but you don't have to do that.
Hello?
Yes, Miss Rogers, I removed you because you've been driving me crazy for 20 minutes with your phone bouncing all over the place. I told you what you needed to know. You have 10 days to move, 10 days to appeal it. He can agree to give you till August 1st, but he does not have to. And they're not prepared to make that decision here today. So you can discuss it with him.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Thank you.